Professor Raymond Noble, Department of Ancient History, log entry number 2. I believe I know the distant past.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Well, sometimes that is better.
Run, Rabbit, run!
I like to dissect girls, if you know I'm utterly insane.
Have you checked the children?
Michael!
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw.
Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
I myself am strange and unusual.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I just can't take no pleasure in killing.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured?
The juice is loose.
Unpleasant dream.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Terror Talks. I'm your host, Jeremy.
And I'm Ansley.
And on this episode, we are taking you up to North Carolina, Nikina, North Carolina to be precise. For this first haunt, we've got a little double feature for you. And on this double feature, we're going to take you to Nikina, North Carolina for Panic Attack Haunted Attraction. This was a first for us. We have never been there before. Kind of, not necessarily found it by accident, but it was a happy accident. We were looking for haunts one night, and this one popped up in the searches, and so we were like, you know what? Let's go check it out, see what they're all about, and we were very, very pleased that we did. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to talk all about Panic Attack Haunted Attraction. So when you first get there, Panic Attack is not just a haunted attraction. I mean, it is quite literally that. It is a haunted attraction, but it also works with the Boondocks Adventure Farm, which is a entirely separate thing, family-friendly aesthetic, family-friendly event. They do a fireworks show every night, which we got some brief video footage of, so hopefully you'll get to see that. And you know, like, they have all the family fun aspects of things. They're actually open year-round. They do some Christmas things and whatnot out there. So that's a really cool thing that they do. So that is the family-friendly aspect. To go out and watch, like, the fireworks show and do all that stuff, you do have to buy a ticket to that side of things. But you can walk around in their quote-unquote midway area, where they have all sorts of things to eat. They've got a couple food stands, some barbecue, some really good chili that I got to have that was absolutely delicious.
That Ansley couldn't eat because Ansley is allergic to beef.
Yeah, she's still mad at me when I mentioned the chili, but it was really, really good. Did I mention?
It smelled so good.
It
and
tasted
chili
just
used
as
to
good.
be one of my favorite things before I was allergic to beef.
Yeah, and before everyone comes at me and calls me an asshole, I didn't, like, eat it in front of her because,
Yes, you
like,
did.
I mean, I did eat it in front of her, but she told me I was okay to do it. I told her I was going to go get some chili.
Well, no, you didn't tell me you were getting chili. You said you were getting cornbread.
I was definitely getting something.
And then you come back with an entire bowl of chili that smelled amazing.
If it's any consolation, I did give her my cornbread.
No, you gave me like 2 bites of the cornbread.
It was very good cornbread.
It was very good cornbread.
I offered to go get her own cornbread. She did not want me to do that. So, in any case, it was still very, very good.
It's also super cool that they had chili of all things at a food stand in a haunt.
Yeah, it was rather shocking. I did not expect that. They also had barbecue sandwiches too. She didn't want the barbecue sandwich.
I'm not a huge fan of barbecue unless it's like homemade barbecue.
Which, I mean, it might have been. I don't know. I didn't try it. So, who is to say, honestly? But still, you know, it was worth a try. I rather enjoyed it. And, you know, that's the important thing. But regardless, lots of great things to see and do out there. Some great food to have. They have a big gift shop. You can go and check out things in there. What else did they have? They had a dude doing different, like, fire tricks. Not just your typical fire twirler, but he also did some other things with fire as well, and that was really neat to see that. So, like I said, a lot of really cool, fun family stuff going on out there in the Boondocks Adventure Farm. But like I said, we're not here to talk about that. They did have a coffin ride, I think, like a buried alive experience thing, which is always
I didn't
cool.
see that.
Yeah, I think it was like in the little area there.
Over by the Barbie box?
Yeah, kind of, sort of in that area, like across from it, I think. I'm not really sure, but it was definitely there. But in any case, so you check all that out, and then you get your tickets for Panic Attack, which is why we're here. You do go past a guy who's got his handy dandy magic metal detector wand, and so they do have some good security out there, which is always a plus. We love security. Security is a very good thing to have at a haunt.
And this kind of stuck out to me. Sometimes when you encounter security, they're get you in, get you out, like get out of my face kind of vibes. Like in the most uneventful, I'm just gonna wand you down real quick way. But this guy was actually trying to make us feel comfortable about it too. He was joking around with us. He was very, very, very sweet about it.
Yeah, he was definitely a good guy. Definitely was doing his job top notch, and so we were very, very pleased with that and just how they handled everything. So good on them for that. So you wander on up, and you head up to the next thing, which is the haunt. But before you get into the haunt, you encounter our new best friend, Giggles the Clown.
We absolutely loved her. Shout out to you, Giggles.
Yes, shout out to Giggles. She was an absolute joy to meet, to interact with, and we had an absolutely amazing time getting to chit chat with her a little bit and just sharing some laughter and some fun stuff there. She was really, really cool.
Also, shout out to Giggles' friend that made her giant hammer.
Yes.
I'm gonna need to find you.
Yes, we need a giant hammer.
I do. Reeps needs a giant black and white hammer.
Maybe one day Reeps will get it. Anyways.
Maybe for Christmas.
Perhaps. In any case, so then you get on up there and you have several lines to choose from. You have your VIP, you have your Fast Pass, you have your general admission. And from there you wait in line. Well, they have a awesome DJ up there who is jamming out, playing some songs, some tunes for you, keeping the vibe real, keeping it pumping, and it's a great time. It's fun. It's a good party atmosphere. It's a really good time.
No breaks in the music, and he found a way to meld these songs together in a way where it's just constant party and you got all kinds of different vibes.
Right. And it doesn't interact poorly with the inside of the haunt either. I don't think we were bothered at all by there was no shall we say noise bleed from
pollution.
Yeah, you didn't have any of that from outside the haunt into inside the haunt. So that was really good that it worked out that way.
Yeah, you go into the first show building and you're just immersed in the show. There is no outside light or sounds or anything of the matter that does not belong in that room.
Right. It was very, very cool. Good on them for doing it the way they did. So we were very pleased with that, just that whole experience. So love that. So then it's time to get into the haunt. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about before that. Getting into it, we saw a lot of cool things in this haunt that we've never seen before. Starting off with one of the very first moments of the haunt, you basically walked into the old style Grimm's fairy tale thing. So we saw who did we see?
Grimm's fairy tales, plural.
Yes, it was several Grimm's fairy tales.
We had Hansel and Gretel.
Yes.
Which that one we were a little confused about at first because it looked kind of like a demented Santa's village until we actually got inside and saw the witches.
Yeah, we were a little thrown at first, but it all made sense in the end, so that was good.
What was the next one? Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, yep, because I remember like
that was my favorite one.
Like Little Red Riding Hood was literally being like mauled by the wolf.
No, I think it was Grandma. Yeah,
Or Grandma was being mauled by the wolf.
And poor Red had met an end, shall we say.
Yeah.
But that being said, that was my absolute favorite show building out of this entire experience.
Yes, it was really cool. They did some really neat things in there that just blew us away.
Snow White.
Yes, Snow White was in there. Let's see who else.
We had a little funny moment where the fog had gotten really thick, and I'm not going to tell you what I was looking at, that I couldn't figure out if I was looking at it or not. But I had said something about it, and the evil witch was there, and she's like, ha ha! And she laughed at me.
That being said, this early part of the haunt was where we did have our first little bit of notes that we have for them. We had some elementary scares.
Yeah.
There were, I believe it was in the Hansel and Gretel scene.
Yeah.
They were basically
just screaming, help me, at the top of their lungs at a, like, decibel that only dolphins could hear.
Yeah, they were just like, help me, and it was like, oh no, don't do that.
Like, we understand that you are a victim, like you were a small child getting eaten by a witch. But, that being said, you gotta tell me why I need to help you.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, we didn't even know it was Hansel and Gretel at first.
Right, we didn't.
We just thought it was like a cute little gingerbread house with like demented elves or something in it, because they were dressed kind of like elves. And I mean, lederhosen and stuff like that is, since Hansel and Gretel is a German story, obviously it's going to be in there. But 9 times out of 10, when you see elves, they're either in that red or green outfit with the little white collar, or they're in lederhosen for some reason.
Right. But yeah, we didn't get any sort of, like, I guess you could say there was no reason for them to be like, oh my gosh, like, help us.
Yeah, we don't know why we were helping you.
Right. Which that was disappointing, to definitely say the least. You know, we want to we want to be we want a reason. We want some creativity. And
like, why should I help you?
Right,
like, I
exactly.
don't know you, and obviously if there's danger around, I'm going to get myself out. So if you're going to try to convince me to help you, tell me why I should help you.
Right. Don't just sit there and scream help me. Like that's the moral of the story here. Is don't scream help me. It's a typical elementary scare, and you know that does nothing for us, you know?
It's boring.
Right. So because of that, you know, that's our big note throughout this. But apart from that, you know, I think a lot of the stuff we have was pretty positive. I mean, we had some very positive moments in here, going all throughout the haunt. There was some more of the Grimm's fairy tales sort of aspects going on. We got to see, let's see, what, we saw...
Rapunzel, Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid. One with a lot of sharks, Peter Pan.
Yes,
Peter Pan.
That was a really cool one, because I was not expecting that.
And at first we didn't know what was going on. And because there was just this kid in all green that just ran up to us, and we were like, huh? And then
Right.
Captain Hook came up around the corner and like was trying to get at us, and we were like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was definitely out of left field. I don't think we've ever seen Peter Pan in a haunt before. Like, that
Let
was...
alone any fairy tales.
Right. That was definitely something different for us. So I was very pleased about that. I was very excited about that. I thought that was something worth, getting excited about. Because, like I said, we've never seen that before. And so it definitely created a new sort of... it was a new experience for us in the haunt, to say the least.
Yeah, and by the way, shout out to Captain Hook, because he was working it. Like, he didn't snatch me, he never touched me, but he got me away from Jeremy, like, several times.
Yeah, because we kept on, like, moving on, and,
had, like, a
he was
sword
like,
and
nope.
a hook to my throat, and Jeremy's just do-do-do-do-do.
If I was just...
I'm walking away.
I was just trucking along, I'm like, whatever, like...
And then he told Captain Hook that he could have me and take me back to Neverland.
Yeah. I said it. She's all yours, Hook. Enjoy. It's like, it's gonna make for a quiet car ride home. So, I'm just kidding. I
and
love
a boring review.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, lots of cool stuff with that. We saw some of your more typical type of things throughout the haunt. Like, we saw, let's see, what did we see? We saw, I'm trying to think. You saw your sort of typical alien sort of invasion type room, and that was cool to see. We saw...
Which, that room, you've got to tell them about the walls.
Oh, the walls were all they were like slanted as you went through there. And that was something that we've only seen one other time at one other
Maybe
haunt.
2 other times.
Maybe. Definitely one that I know for sure, and that was on an earlier episode this season, that we definitely saw it. But that was one of those neat touches that, you don't get in haunted houses very often. So the fact that we got that was really cool.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
Yeah, we love to see interesting things like that. Things that, really, I don't want to say shouldn't be, but things that, we don't see often. We love to see new things.
Things that aren't important, technically, but also add to your haunt.
Right. And, this was one of those moments that added to the haunt. Another moment that added to it for me was, you mentioned the Peter Pan and the whole little pirate area right after it. I was really astounded at that part, because they didn't just have, like, Peter Pan and Captain Hook. They went as far as to create an entire pirate ship that you saw from the outside, plus, like, running water and things like that too.
The water features, the sharks.
Yes, like...
I even think I saw TikTok the Croc.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the more insane things we've seen, and it was so well done, and it was so impressive, because, like I said, it's one of those things that you're like, that shouldn't be here. Like, as a haunt builder, you don't have to do all of that. You don't have to go the extra mile and do those extra little details.
But that being said, we do love it when we have owners and builders and workers that want to give us that little bit of something extra.
Yes. It definitely does not go unnoticed. And we have an absolute ball getting to see that, especially just getting to, like, walk through and go like, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? And,
oh, look at that. That's cool. Look at that.
Right. Catching those things as you go through that just astound you, really. Like, that's the only way to say it, is they really do astound you in such good ways, too. Like, really was amazing.
Well, and I feel like this is a good transitional moment, because as you're leaving the Peter Pan style area, you go under the sea to the Little Mermaid.
Oh, I know what you're going to talk about.
And one of our favorite scares happen down there, guys. And honest to God, I believe this was a scare actress, and if it was, the one that was playing, I'm gonna call her Ursula. Well, I can't do that, so
Yes, you can.
Oh, I can?
You can say that she was probably playing Ursula.
She was a sea witch. Very akin to Disney's Ursula. Not exact. We ain't trying to get them copyrighted or nothing, because she wasn't exact. But very akin to her. And as we were walking by, she was in this little alcove right in front of us, and she was doing a still scare. But as we were walking past, we noticed her head turn and follow us. So if that was an animatronic, that is an awesome fucking animatronic. If that was a scare actress, I do not know how you did that. Because it was so seamless.
I think we figured out as we were experiencing it, that it was indeed a scare actress.
Well, the only reason I say that it probably was a scare actress is because I don't think I've ever encountered an animatronic that has, like, movement technology where it will follow you.
Right.
Like, of course, you get your little smoke and mirrors moment where if you, like, set the eyes a little bit deeper and epoxy over them so they look like a full eye, it'll give the illusion of watching you.
Yeah.
But she fully turned her head to follow us as we were walking past her. So if that was a scare actress, hats off to you, ma'am, or sir, or non-binary being. We don't distinguish, you know. We're gonna, you know what? From here on, we will just call you the gender of the character you're playing.
Yes, that seems like a good idea.
Yeah. So, ma'am, you, wow.
Absolutely astounded us.
Like, I don't know how to explain how, like, in awe I am of that. And I know it is a very small thing. But coming from somebody who has done still scares where you stay as still as humanly possible to make people think that you are a prop. And I've actually seen some animatronic acts done very seamlessly, and this was one of those. Like, where you do the repetitive motion to make it look like you are an animatronic, and then, of course, you stand up and you turn around or you do something big and it scares the shit out of everybody.
Specifically me.
Where you can do that and it is just so completely seamless, and people honestly are, like, watching you and thinking you are an animatronic and thinking it's safe to go past you, and you just immediately pop up. Now, combining an animatronic style scare with a still scare, that is impressive.
That is
and
extremely
very
impressive.
effective. Very, very effective. Because I don't scare easy, obviously. I think there was one haunt this season that got a good number of scares out of me. Over 10. The one I'm specifically thinking about. Not to say I haven't got some scares out of other haunts, but it is very hard to scare me. It is not nearly as easy to scare me as it is to scare Jeremy. That being said, even though it didn't directly scare me, it was very, very unsettling. Just to watch your head slowly follow me across the room. And just that dead and terrifying look on your face. Holy shit, that was unsettling.
Very much unsettling.
So we're singing your praises.
Absolutely. You absolutely nailed that.
Or singing the animatronics praises. I
have
know. No
we
idea.
We could talk about an
point.
animatronic for all we know at this point. Like, who's to say?
That's if it was an animatronic, it was a damn good animatronic.
Yes, it was a very damn good animatronic. We were just, we were shocked. We were absolutely shocked.
But anybody from this haunt that is hearing this, if it actually is a scare actress, please, 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 please show her this review.
Please.
Because we need her to know. And if it's the animatronic, also please kind of let us know, because otherwise, like, we're still in the dark about that. But
I mean, if it is an animatronic, please show the animatronic this review too.
Please do. Like, link us to a video or something, dude. Because, like, that is an impressive animatronic if it was not an actress.
No, I'm saying they need to show the animatronic this review.
Oh.
They need to walk up to it and just be like, look, they're talking about you.
Oh. Yeah, and then video it and, like, send it to us. Because that'd be funny.
That would be very funny. Anyways,
enough about Ursula.
Yes. So, moving on through the haunt, again, throughout it, you get a lot of your traditional tropes, some really, like, gorgeous set pieces. There was a house facade that was just like, oh, so well done. The level of detail all throughout here.
And the castle.
Yes. It is all just absolutely next to none. Like, it is so well done. Like, we could sit here and talk about it forever. There, like I said, there's not really any bad things to mention going through here. Oh, do you have something bad to mention? Please take over.
Well, we got to talk about the castle, and it made me realize that there was an actor in the courtyard area before you get to this castle that was screaming at us to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we may or may not have an Inside the Haunt video for this. There has been some, I'm gonna call it discrepancies, even though I feel like that's not the correct terminology for this.
We've been having a lot of technical difficulties on our end, and even our YouTube, like, as we're filming this, we're trying to...
He's trying to fix the YouTube for us and for y'all. But anyway, we were given permission to record some of the scenes and everything. And so this was one of those impressive areas that we wanted to make sure we at least get some good footage of. And as we're walking through, we always walk a little bit slower because, number one, you know me, I'm very detail oriented. As I say in multiple episodes, I am very ADHD. I will look at and notice everything. Like, if this is a little bit off, oh, well, I see a water bottle. Like, I will look at everything. And I will look at everything all at once. And going slower just allows me to kind of scan the room and not feel so frantic about it. And also, if you're basically running through a haunt, you're just getting this, like, motion sickness style camera work. And we want to get y'all some good footage.
Yeah.
So, as we're doing that, this scare actor comes out of the woodwork and just starts screaming at us, hurry up, get out. And we're like, really? And then I was like, okay, well, maybe there's another group behind us, but still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they ended up catching up to us anyway.
They did. We ended up leading a little bit of a conga line in the end. We are
totally our fault, not theirs.
Yeah, but I'd say it's not on them. It was definitely on us.
But props to the other group, because they didn't seem to mind too much.
Yeah, they were pretty chill about it. They were they were very chill about it, I should say.
Yeah, and that being said, we have had some groups that are complete fucking assholes to us. There was one haunt we went to, like, last year, which, speaking of last year, sorry about that, guys. We don't know what happened there. But we went to a haunt, like, last year, and one of the groups that ended up behind us was a group of, like, teenagers.
Yeah.
And they were screaming, like, vulgar shit behind us and stuff that we could not put on YouTube. And so a lot of the audio had to be cut out for that video. I think we ended up having to cut out an entire scene because of them.
Yeah, but in hindsight, it was what do you call it? It was a haunt that we have visited a lot, and so we have episodes of it on our channel already, so we didn't miss much of it.
Yeah,
but beside the
Ansley
point of
did
relevant,
almost go to jail for that.
Yeah, true. But again, doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Just because,
Because we came back and we brought reaps.
we came back, we brought reaps, and now this season we're doing better than ever. Assuming all of our stuff wants to start working properly.
Speaking of, we're working on getting y'all some merch together.
Yes, we are working on all of the things.
All of the things. So many things.
So many things. It's a lot of things.
Yeah. And I feel like at this current moment, this is a good time to mention that we have something pretty big for our lovely haunts that we have reviewed this season in the works.
Yes, we do have a really cool thing that we are working on. That is all we will say at this
That's
current.
all we will say.
That's all we're going to...
A little teaser information.
Yeah, that's all we're going to give you right now where that is concerned. But we do have some really cool things coming in the near foreseen future. So just get ready for that.
Anywho's,
yeah.
Beside the point of relevance.
So like we said, moving on throughout the haunt. There were some really beautiful details all throughout that we got to see. There were some not so beautiful details.
Bit lackluster.
Yeah.
Inside of the castle.
Right. That was
Yeah, because you get this big, beautiful, outside area, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going into a castle. And then it's like...
Yeah, it was actually very sort of dingy in there. It was not... That particular area was not as great as it could have been. I would have liked to see a little bit more theming, I think, in there.
So much build up, and then it just flatlines.
Yeah, so that would be one part I'd like to see some fixing take place, if you will.
Yeah. Hiding your, as Jeremy calls them, and I hate this term, but boo holes. Your hidey holes. Hide them a little bit better, because curtains, random black curtains in the middle of a stone facade wall.
It ain't the move.
I understand. We have to have those, because scare actors, number one, need a place to hide their stuff. Number two, it gives you an opportunity for, jump scares and stuff. But, at the same time, I know it's coming if I see a black curtain that I've seen used more effectively in other pieces, but especially, is something as big as, a castle facade where you have taken and made the walls look stone and added, I think there was armor in there, all kinds of stuff for a castle. And then number one, it's very, very small. The inside is super, super small, and you don't even get the illusion that it's bigger. It looks like a stone hallway once you get inside. There's no illusion of a castle, throne room, or a great hall or something. No, it's literally just a hallway with stone on the walls and some theming.
Yeah, there could be a little bit more to it. Yeah, we'd like to see more. Sorry, I know I'm being a little distant on it, and I'm letting Ansley sort of take the lead on a lot of this.
But, a lot of this stuff needs talked about, and we have just explained. Jeremy is, as we are recording, he is trying to fix our YouTube so that you guys get content.
Yeah,
and so that we're not just doing this to talk to ourselves, basically.
Yeah, because, as much as I like to hear myself talk, I don't like to hear it that much.
Yeah, I kind of hate my voice, especially on recording.
Yeah.
But anyway, but then you get out of the Grimm's fairy tales into your basic haunt. You had a lot of your haunt staples, like your cemetery and your clown house, and my blanket term for like your sterile areas, like hospitals and such, is your white coat syndrome areas.
Yes.
So you get a lot of that stuff too. And I will say, I don't know how easy it would be to do this, but you go from like these awesome fairy tale scenes that are like demented and twisted, and it's a lot of excitement all at once as you first begin, and then you get to this and it's like, oh, wow, okay, that was a total 180. And honestly, if it is possible, I would say swap them around. Well, obviously, I know we can't, like, pick up entire buildings and move them. Um, the things that we can theme a little bit differently and, like, swap around, I definitely would if that is a possibility. I'm not saying it is because, like I said, I know that infrastructure-wise, it, um, is not in the cards to just pick up entire buildings and move them. So,
yeah, we don't have the power to do that just yet.
either that, or I would, bring up the rest of this haunt to that level somehow. Because, like I said, we went through all of these Grimm's fairy tales, and it's like you're expecting so much out of this entire haunt after that, and then it just kind of falls into a basic haunt after that. Like, props for the creativity. We absolutely loved it. It was, like, extremely cool as somebody who has always loved scary stories, even when they gave me nightmares and everything. Every time we'd go camping and, like, it was time for scary stories, I would listen with bated breath. When I got into middle school and I found out about the Grimm's fairy tales, those were the first things that I would read, like, in middle school. Like, I went straight from, like, Junie B. Jones to Grimm's fairy tales. And, like, then creepypastas and blah, blah, blah. But, as somebody who loves those fairy tales and loves the dark and disturbing and stuff, I was, like, totally in awe at how you brought them to life. And then, as we exited that area and went into, a cannibal area, and a clown house, and my white coat syndrome area, I was like, oh, okay, we're here, we're working. Lost a lot of energy, but we're still here, we're still working. Like, I would love to see a little bit more excitement in those areas, because, like I said, it is totally 180. You go from childhood, like your childhood being ruined, to like basic haunted house staples immediately.
Yeah. That's all I had to say about that.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I just kind of let you take the reins on that whole thing.
Yeah.
For me, I really, the typical tropes didn't bother me as much, I guess, as I'm sure as it did you.
Well, it didn't bother me because that's usually what I'm expecting when I see haunted houses. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love them. Uh, I will I will say this to till the day that I have to stop going through haunted houses, which I hope I die before that happens. A cannibal area that is done good is worth the entire haunt to me. Like, I absolutely love the cannibal areas. I myself am not a cannibal.
I'll say, okay, thank you for clarifying that.
But I do absolutely love, like, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre-esque scenes. Because I have said it once, I'll say it a million times, and I will keep saying it. Texas Chainsaw is one of my absolute favorites.
It's true. She does nothing but talk about Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, I have, like, all kinds of... I've got, like, a chainsaw, a little plastic chainsaw, but still, a chainsaw on my wall. I spent like $60 on a leather face mask. I even have a tattoo that is Texas Chainsaw inspired. Like, I live and breathe Texas Chainsaw, which sounds very demented now that I'm saying that out loud. But I absolutely love it. It is one of those, like, nostalgic horror movies. So when I see, like, cannibal areas where you're gonna have, like, body parts and ovens and stuff, I get excited because I get to step into my favorite horror movie.
There you have it, folks. She gets excited when she sees body parts and ovens.
No, I get excited when I see chainsaws. Keep up.
Okay, well, if I end up in an oven, you know what happened.
I'm not a cannibal. Just a man.
Anyways.
Beside the point. Irrelevant.
So yeah. We had a really good time at this haunt. I think I'm gonna be nitpicky about something. Just because I can. And actually because it does bear to be said. So one of the things we found out, obviously like we said, is we always get permission to film when we come to these haunts. And we found out before going in that one of the things they do where that is concerned is they will get the permission before we contact them before the night begins. And then they get the word out to all of their actors at the beginning of the night to let them know.
That's not the vibe I got from that.
No, that was exactly what we were told.
No, because who did you talk to when you got that information? Was I in the bathroom?
No, it was the lady that was right before we walked into the haunt.
Well, maybe I zoned out. I don't know. But what I heard was they shouldn't bother you. We already know, so it's not really a big deal.
No, I heard that, they get the permission at the beginning of the night and they let them know, like, hey, this group is going to be coming through. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. If somebody there wants to correct me on that and let us know, fine, go for it.
Yeah, because we're kind of at a split here. Like, because I didn't hear that, but also I'm ADHD, so I was taking in everything else. And I could have just missed it. But Jeremy apparently was just, talking to this person, and that's what they said.
Yeah, so we're not really entirely sure on that, but we're pretty sure that it was said that they're told at the beginning of the night that we are going to be there and that they won't bother us. Well, we did have 2 actors throughout that did say something about us filming. And one of them said, like, stop filming or you can't film in here. And then another one was like, put the phone away or something. Like, it was both of them were very evident in what they said. And so I will say that was a little disappointing, especially given how impressed we were when we first arrived and were told, hey, we take basically these precautions, not precautions is not the right word, I guess. We take these steps to make sure that you are not going to have your experience ruined. So if we told you, hey, like, we've cleared you to film for your channel, which, let me just preface that with, when we say we're given permission to film, it is for our channel and publicity and things like that. This is not for, just any average Joe to just come off the street and film, because obviously we don't want every single person to see these haunts and such. So there is a caveat on that. So, not to say like we're privileged, but
Okay. Well, a little bit of good with the bad. We did have maybe like 1 or 2 actors that noticed the camera, and instead of breaking character to tell us to stop filming or that we couldn't film in there, they stayed in character and they were like, "What's that?" And after we let them know, because usually that's what'll happen if, a character notices a phone and, usually it's not supposed to be in there.
Yeah.
And they don't want to break character. The first line they say is, "What's that?" And they point at camera in character. And then after, we tell them, "Hey, we got permission to film, it's all right." Then they worked up the camera.
Right. So luckily, most of them were pretty cool about it, and they did exactly that, and they played along. Others we did have some issues with, but it wasn't like, I mean, it was two actors tops, so I'm not like,
Yeah,
oh my
so we're not
gosh, like,
crucifying over that.
yeah,
At least it's not like some other haunts that we've been to that every single scene somebody was yelling at us to put our phone away. And
yeah,
every single scene we're like, hey, so-and-so gave us permission, and name dropping whoever gave us permission.
right, because we have had that problem before, and that
And
always
Ansley is
gets,
still mad about that.
yeah, we get rather annoyed with that. But beside the point, that was the only like big ticket issue we had. That and the two uh character breaks that, or not character breaks, I'm sorry, the two elementary scares that we did get. But other than that, it was a very, very good haunt. It was a very professional haunt, and we were very impressed by it. I definitely will spend the money to go back there. And I've already, we talked to some people who told us that they try to change, something every year. And so you're never going to see the same thing twice. So that's really cool.
I mean, you are going to see the same thing twice, but it's going to be in a different way.
Yes, but sometimes you might see something completely different. Like I said, you won't see the same thing twice.
Yeah, it's like a fun little game. You go back year after year and just see what's changed.
Right. So, all that being said, let's dive into the rating. Ansley, what are you going to give Panic Attack?
Well, I'm going to give them a 4.
Ooh.
Because there was some things that I didn't necessarily like that I could overlook, i.e., the energy level from the first half to the second, and it's not like a queue line between. It's just you kind of get dumped into the next half. Um, and like I said when I was talking about it, it was just the fact that we were going from something so amazing to something we've seen a million times.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing, honestly. Because, I mean, every haunt has those staples. And the second half of the haunt was just literally all haunt staples. And it was kind of one of those things where I was like, well, wow, all of this haunt so far has been amazing. And then I get to this part and I'm like, huh, okay, yeah, I like this, yeah. Okay, seen it, but I like it.
Yeah.
And it was just like that change of energy level for me. But like I understand y'all can't fix that overnight, so I'm not gonna harp on it. I can't really get past the elementary scares. Especially the help me's. Of all of the elementary scares that get thrown around, help me's are my least favorite. Like if I will take any other one with way less complaints than a help me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the help me is the obvious choice, especially if you're a victim.
True.
Yeah, so that one, I'm like, can we not?
Yeah.
Can we just not? And for it to be like an ear-piercing decibel to where, like, you can barely understand that's what they're saying, on top of the fact that we already kind of didn't know what was going on in that first scene anyway, and then that guy basically yelling at us to go, but not saying get out or whatever, yelling at us to hurry and get out or whatever he was saying, as he was forcing us to basically run through his scare zone. Couldn't get over that. And then again, very detail oriented. The inside of the castle. I was so excited about it, and then it was like that moment where you're like going up on the roller coaster and you're coming to this facade and it's like going up on that hill, and then it's like it flattens out and you just gently slide down.
Yeah. Well, I am not going to be nearly as harsh. I'm going to give them a 4.5 because I was rather impressed with all the good things that they did do. The few little elementary scares we got on this one didn't bother me too terribly much, because it was like it's pretty early on, so I sort of got over it. And plus there were so many really good notable moments in there that it was kind of like, you know what? I haven't seen these before, so I'm here for it, and I'm down with this. So I'm gonna give them a 4.5. So, that being said, I gave him a 4.5. Ansley gave him a 4. That means Panic Attack Haunted Attraction is a grand total of, drumroll please, 4 screams. Panic Attack Haunted Attraction is a 4 screams rated haunted house, but don't just take our word for it. We invite you to disagree with us, agree with us, and go check it out for yourself. They are going to be open as of the night of recording this, October 31st, which is Halloween, and November 1st and 2nd. On October 31st, they will be open until 10 p.m., and I believe on the 1st and 2nd of November, they will be open until midnight. I could be wrong on that, but just call them ahead of time and double check just to be sure, because I'm not 100% sure. But go check them out. They are in Nikina, North Carolina, located at 3245 Pine Level Church Road, Nikina, North Carolina, 28455. Panic Attack Haunted Attraction. I should get a job being their audio guy. I could do their radio announcements. It could be great. Okay, maybe not.
Dare to dream, my dear. Dare to dream.
And then while you're there, you can also check out Boo and the Boondocks, which is the more family-friendly side of things. They're open on Friday and Saturdays from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. and on Sundays from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. So they're open a little longer than the haunt is going on, but that's because there's more stuff to do over on that side. They're located at 3183 Pine Level Church Road, Nikina, North Carolina, 28455.
And by the way, they also do Christmas stuff.
They do, and we are hoping to get out there and check that out. We might have some special Christmas
We've got some stuff in the works, possibly.
Yeah, we've got some plans. We've got some plans, but do go check out Boondocks Adventure Farm for Boo and the Boondocks, and keep an eye out on their page for stuff regarding their Christmas haunt. Not Christmas haunt. I'm sorry, that's not a thing.
We don't know if it's a thing.
No, it's not a thing. I've already found that out. Not a Christmas haunt, but the Christmas fun festivities that are going to be happening over there. Lots of cool things happening. So go check out Panic Attack Haunted Attraction this haunt season. Let them know the Terror Talk sent you. All right, we're going to take a little break to hear from our sponsors. And when we come back, we're going old school, and we're going to talk about Phobia Haunted Trail. Don't go anywhere.
Are you a haunt owner looking to spice up your haunted attraction this year? Or maybe just a neighbor who loves to turn their home into a scene fit for a horror movie? No matter the case, our friends at Haunted FX Props can help turn your Halloween vision into a living nightmare. These horrifying geniuses specialize in building haunted house props, lighting for your haunted attraction, and designing haunted houses and escape rooms that are sure to keep your fans coming back for more. How much is it? Well, your prices will vary based on the services provided for your haunt. So get in touch with them today to set up what you need. You can visit them today at their Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok by simply searching Haunted FX Props. To not only get in contact with them, but also to see some of the work that they do, or you can visit them at their website, www.hauntedfxprops.com. You can also personally contact them by emailing them at info@hauntedfxprops.com. Or you can call them directly at 706-799-5382. Again, that is 706-799-5382. Anytime from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. So be sure to contact Haunted FX Props today to make sure your haunt can be the absolute best it can be.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, on this episode of the Terror Talks. Before the break, we talked all about Panic Attack Haunted Attraction. Now, we are going to talk about Phobia Haunted Trail. So, this is located in Leland, North Carolina, about, give or take, 45 minutes from Panic Attack. And this is your typical backwoods sort of haunted trail sort of deal. You know, it's different. They do have a theme. We did not know this when we arrived. And apparently the theme is Carnival. Get it? Carnival, Carnival.
Yeah.
Womp womp. I'm sorry, like, valiant effort, guys, but I've seen that one used a million times.
Well, my thing is, it kind of doesn't fit the theme of the first half.
Yeah, it doesn't work for the first half, but it does definitely work for the second half. But it does say there are 2 trails to survive, both included. One fully immersive clown trail and one trail to test your phobias. What it says here, allow me to enlighten you all. They really should have had these in the opposite order, but the clown trail will take you back in time to an old carnival where the clowns have decided it's time for revenge and carnival. They are tired hiding under beds and closets in your crawl space. Now they have found their home in the woods, and you are on their turf. Carnival will test your mind to know what's real and what's not. You wanted clowns? Well, you're gonna get angry clowns in the woods looking to add to their human collection. Can you survive? Don't ask why. That was the voice I went with. It just seemed right.
You know what it made me think of while you were reading that?
What?
Do you remember when, I think it was when the first half of It came out, like the revisited, what is that, remake, that's what the word I was looking for. The remake of It came out, and all of those, like, people were dressing like clowns and just, like, making it their mission to creep people out, like, ringing their Ring doorbells and, I remember walking around outside of schools and stuff.
Yep.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then the second haunt, Dr. Luke von Witz will test your fears and phobias on the Institute Trail. He will keep some guests for additional tests and feed the rest to the monsters. What's your fear? Will you become the doctor's latest subject or dinner? This isn't for the faint of heart. Your life is at stake or stake. What lies in the dark, what you can see and what you can't? Do you have what it takes to face your fears? Proceed with caution or you just may end up part of the attraction. Don't ask why I went with that voice either. It makes no sense to me in the grand scheme of things. But
by the way, these descriptions are on their website as of the time we are recording this. So if you couldn't understand a word Jeremy said, please read it for yourself.
Oh, they can understand. They understand everything.
I barely understood it myself, and I'm sitting right next to you.
Any damn way. So,
beside the point, irrelevant.
So let's look at both of these haunts. So these are your typical backyard haunts, okay? They rely big time on jump scares, and the owner told us that before going in. He was like, we like to, we're going to do jump scares. That's kind of why they didn't want us to film, because they didn't want to give too much away because of that jump scare aspect. Some really interesting moments along the trail. The first trail was the more phobia one, and in that trail, there were 4 actors, I think?
I think there was about 6, actually. I may have counted wrong.
Well, because you had the first 2 in the first little building sort of area, because they did have, like, a makeshift building at the beginning. You kind of went into what looks like a castle, but I guess it was a laboratory, or meant to be. That. And then those 2 actors sort of tailed you for a little while, and then you came across... Yeah, you're right. There was exactly 6. Because you had those 2, and then you had 2 more in the next section, which was the creepy doll sort of section.
No, because there was a, I don't want to give it away, but, I mean, it's a haunt staple, and they don't know, they know it's going to be there, they just don't know, like, what it's going to look like. So, your cemetery area. So, there, that was before the doll area.
No.
And I think there was one person in there.
No, the cemetery came after the dolls.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not.
I don't know. We didn't get to film this one, so we can't go back and review to know for sure. But point is, there were definitely 2 in the front house because they sort of jumped at us from the dark. There was 2 in the little doll kind of area because it was the one girl who...
Go ahead and shout her out.
Huge shout out to this girl. We have never in our life seen a human move in such a way. that has made us uncomfortable and impressed at the same time. This girl straight up went full crab walking backwards on all fours at the speed of a freaking, like, spider that you were shooting at. Like, she was just zooming.
She really went from doll like no knees style walking to immediately dropping to her hands and feet backwards and crawling towards us with her feet pointed towards us at Mach 12.
When I tell you it was comfortable, yeah, super uncomfortable.
We was uncomfy.
Yeah.
In the best sort of way.
It freaked me the freak out. Like, I was like, oh my god, what in the world? I did not think this would happen. And wow, so impressed by her. And then somehow they very quickly found out my name, and for the rest of the haunt, I was being called out by name by all of them. They're like, all right, Jeremy, we see you, Jeremy.
Well, I think it's because I roasted you while we were in the doll area and I used your government name.
Oh, okay, so got it. So this is Ansley's fault.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Anyways.
I'll take that. That's a badge of honor for me.
So along this trail, you follow, like, Christmas lights that have been laid out, basically, to sort of guide you along the trail. And that was a really neat touch, because it was like, okay, cool. Like, and they weren't, like, too bright. They sort of, like, would swell.
They would, like, pulsate, kind of.
Yeah, that's a better word than swell. But it worked. It worked very well to give the effect. So it was really cool. I don't think anybody gave us any elementary scares in here, I think. No, yeah. I think we may have gotten one. No.
The first half of the trail, at least. We will, as we're going through it and things start coming back to me, I will let you know. But the first part of this trail, not a single elementary scare. And when I tell you, this is a, like, backwoods style haunt. This is one of those haunted houses that you would have at, like, a Halloween party.
Yeah, it reminds me, there was a neighbor we had at one point who he cut a path into the woods next to his house and made a little mini haunted trail down in the woods. It just went down and up. But that's what it reminded me of. It was very reminiscent of that.
That being said, we're not hating on this haunt at all. We actually loved it for, you know, the simplicity of it.
Yes. It was very, very charming for being as simple as it was.
Yes, very, very charming in the best way.
Yeah. I will say, obviously, with any sort of backyard haunts or trail like this, it was a little shorter than I probably would have liked. But, I mean, that's also what you're going to get with something like this. Because it was also, I know the second house, it definitely was longer than we anticipated. I think probably anywhere between each trail lasted 5 to 10 minutes. Probably it was a little closer on the 10-minute side, I think, especially because we tend to walk really slow to take everything in. So if you walk slow, I mean, you can make, you know, a 20-minute trip out of this, you know, not including whatever you're going to do waiting in line. So it's a fairly decent length. I mean, I would love it. They clearly have all this wood space out there to make it even longer. I'd love to see it expanded upon.
But we also don't know the extent of their property line.
True. If there is more space, though, I'd love to see it played with a little bit more. See how much further out they could go, how much longer they could go. Maybe build some more makeshift structures out there. Because, I mean, I do love a good haunted trail where everything's happening and you're out in the open. But, you know, maybe a small little shack or something you walk into where you could actually have a little bit of a more fleshed out scene. It doesn't have to be professional like, you know, Hollywood level either. Just something to give it a little extra flair, you know?
But we also don't know if this was somebody's yard. And if you, like, put those structures there, you either got to find a way to, like, close them up really well during the off season just in case somebody comes on your property. You don't want to lose money because somebody's a jackass.
Fair.
So, I mean, there is a lot of wiggle room there. Like, you were wiggling in an open, like, in a garage, basically.
Yeah. Well,
with
I
that,
mean,
the amount of wiggle room there is there.
Okay, but I can still have wishes and wants, okay?
You can have wishes and wants, and your opinions are totally valid. But I am also here to play devil's advocate and to introduce you to the very real possibilities that your wishes and wants may not be attainable.
They might not be, but I don't know that, so I can put these out, and they can reach out to us and tell us if they are too far-fetched. Which, we welcome that. Please, reach out to us. Let us know.
Please.
Because then it keeps us from having this argument again next year. Because
just like other opinions are valid when it comes to going to these haunts, and we are helping people learn, like the scare actors learn a little bit more about, what they can do, what they should do a little bit better. Like, the reason for these reviews isn't just for patrons, it is also for the scare actors. One of our very good friends that we mentioned very much on the show, Brandy, used to be my actor director, and before I had come through, before I had started acting there is what I mean, Jeremy had actually come through reviewing before I was on the show, and had left a review. There was a lot of things wrong that night, and Brandy actually listened to it, and she played it for the scare actors that were there before me. So, that being said, we invite you guys to do that. If you think our review is worth, using as a learning tool.
Which we hope you do take it as that, because that is the goal.
And we are also learning from you guys. Like, because there is stuff that we don't know, because, I mean, obviously, we're not part of your haunt family or your, your team. So there is a lot of, like, little things that we would not know about that could have a big impact on your haunt.
Right.
So we invite you to let us know, hey, well, this is why this happened, this is why that happened.
Yes, always, always, always reach out to us, agree with us, disagree with us, let us know, and point things out to us. And then, but we also say sometimes just, if it's an acting note, just take the note and say thank you.
Yeah, if it's an acting note, then 100% take the note and move on.
It's like back in theater. Anyways, moving on. So, first half was good. Really cool stuff. Loved the really cool girl who did the little back bend thing.
Yeah, shout out to you again, girly.
Yeah. Really good stuff. And then moving over to the clown house, or the clown trail, I guess I should say. The first little part of it, you had like a little clown maze that you walked through. And they actually had it built up, walls and whatnot. It was basically a building without a roof, which was still pretty cool. And it did get a scare out of me, because actors did get me in there. For me, clowns don't really do anything for me anymore. They never did. I was never scared of clowns. But in terms of in a haunt, clowns, I get it. People are freaked out by them, but it's such an overdone one for me that, I see it, I'm just like, okay, whatever.
But you are going to have to kind of get over that, because a lot of people, I think I read somewhere that 1, maybe 2 out of every 5 people is scared of clowns.
Well, probably, but I don't understand that phobia at all. Like, there's nothing scary about clowns to me.
I mean, I used to be scared of clowns until I, actually was doing some scare acting and actually got to be a clown. And my sister-in-law has a clown character. So, when I moved back up here, that's when I stopped being afraid of clowns. Because I was around her all the time when she was doing her clown makeup, and it kind of in my brain, her doing her clown makeup, oh, well, she's just a regular person, and then actually getting to act as a clown, it cured it for me. But I understand not everybody, is that easy to cure of their phobias. So, that being said, you may just have to get over it.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
I mean, I can harp on it all day long, and I will still die on that hill. Get rid of clowns, but that's just me. Anyways, so yeah, like I said, it didn't really do much for me. This was the trail that I did have an issue on because while everybody was doing pretty good about, jumping out at us and getting us and whatnot, I noticed there was an actor who he had his little scare setup, right? And this was the only, this was a big devastating blow for me. He had a literal camping chair sitting there.
But did you see all the other ones?
No, I just saw the one because it was in plain sight.
In the first area, I counted at least 3.
Okay, well, if you saw them, then, I mean, there you go.
I mean, you can't expect them to, just sit on the ground and twiddle their thumbs until the next group comes through.
Well, I mean, every haunt we've been to this season, we have not seen anything like that.
Not true. But I will agree with you on this. They could have been hidden a little bit better.
Yes, they could have. And this one was painfully obvious because it was right there, literally
in the light.
In the light, in the path, and sitting in the chair was a water bottle. Just a Dasani water bottle.
Hydrate or dihydrate, we love it, but we don't want to see it.
Correct. And that's my big thing, is I don't want to see that. Don't show... I get it, we're all humans, I understand that. Don't let me see it. I get it. I do. Don't think I'm some jackass who doesn't.
Don't take us out of the scene. Keep us in the scene.
Yeah, set it somewhere else.
And you're not sponsored by Dasani, so don't bring your water bottle into this.
Yeah. And then, moving up to another section right there, it was the same actor, actually. He had an air horn sitting on the set piece, right in front of him. Where we were gonna walk. And so I saw it sitting there. And basically, he choreographed his scare. Or that's not the right, he telegraphed his scare. Because I knew what was coming, because I saw it sitting there and I went, it's an air horn, he's gonna use it.
Yeah, he killed his own scare.
Yeah. So don't do that. I mean, hide it better. Carry it on your person. Hell, put it behind a tree, in a bush, somewhere where we're not gonna see it. Don't have it up at eye level with the guest. Because then you've just telegraphed your entire scare, and now we know what's coming.
And now we help you. So Jeremy was saying, put it behind a tree and everything, and it is dark in those woods. You've got your Christmas lights, and you've got, in the clown area, you've got these kind of, structures that are lit up. Everything else is super dark.
Yes.
So, that being said, take you some glow paint, and paint you a line down the sides of it. One on every side. That way, no matter what angle it is angled at, you can still see it. But it's not going to be as obvious to your patrons, us, where your water bottle and your chair is concerned. That area, there was a wall right there. Just put it behind the wall. I mean, obviously, you're in a big open area, so it's going to be a lot harder to hide. And, I mean, put it outside of the light. That's what the first half of the group did, and yes, I noticed them, but I noticed everything, and, I mean, you fooled Jeremy. Jeremy didn't see those.
Nope, but I did see yours.
But he did see yours. And for Jeremy to notice as you're scaring the shit out of him, that's painfully obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, we're really sorry to have to be that asshole, but, we feel comfortable being this asshole so that you have the tools to get better.
We walk so you can run.
No.
No, we're not.
No,
that's
because that would imply that we did something in, the most watered-down form so that they could build onto it. That's what that phrase means.
Okay, fine. We didn't walk so you can run, but we gave you the note so you can do something with it, okay?
Yes, there you go.
So take the note, move on with your life.
We're gonna have shirts that say, beside the point, irrelevant, Team Ansley, and then take the note and move on, Team Jeremy.
Hey, you know what? All my years in the theater world, that's what we were told. Take the note.
Well, I was a marching band kid, so.
Yeah, but you gotta think about it. Haunting is essentially theater. Which nobody...
Well, you say that,
nobody's... You're not gonna change my mind. It is basically theater.
Anyway, beside the point, irrelevant.
Very relevant. Anyways, moving on. So yeah, those were my grievances in there. I did like some moments we got to see. I loved the sort of Pennywise aspect of this haunt because they did play heavily into basically it, especially at the end of it, because they had like the dead lights and whatnot. If you know the movie It, you know what I'm talking about, when Pennywise will open his mouth and the lights are shining at you. They did play into that a little bit in here, and I thought that was a really cool touch.
That was really cool, and that is something that not even like the more established haunts can do.
Right, and I mean, we've seen plenty of haunts use Pennywise in some form or fashion, and this one I thought was one of the better ways to do it.
Yes,
so,
we were very impressed with you guys as Pennywise. So whoever was playing that Pennywise, shout out to you. You did a good job.
Yes. The parking situation, I will jump on that real quick, because, there's not a whole lot more to talk about.
You can't kill them on that too hard, though.
I'm not going to kill them on that.
I'll let you say what you got to say, and then I'll tell you why.
I mean, I get why. They're sort of situated behind a bar. Like, there's a bar, and then literally you sort of go off to the side there, and their haunt is back in the back. So it is a little, it can get a little confusing when you arrive there. In fact, we almost missed it at first. It was like, wait a minute, where is it? And then we noticed a little sign. But they did explain, after the storm and all that, they did have to do some makeshift stuff to make it work for now. They would have, the guy out front, I don't know who he was in relation to the haunt, but, he said like, oh, we usually have a lot more stuff to tell you where you're going and more lights and things like that. But in terms of the parking situation, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward parking. It's not bad. There's plenty of parking once you get down there to the main lot where the haunt is. Like I said, it's just a little confusing trying to get there because it's just a little like handwritten sign that tells you, "Hey, Phobia," and it's like, "Oh, is that where I'm going?" Okay, and it's confusing because it's like I said, it's right behind this bar and grill that's right there off the road. But a lot of room to park. At least there was the night that we came there, and they make it a point to tell you when you park to point your headlights in the opposite direction, because it's the opposite direction of the haunt, and so if your headlights are facing that way, you're shining onto the haunt. So good on them for that little parking instruction detail. I think that was really clever.
Yeah, because that's something you really wouldn't think about. And imagine going there on a more busy night.
Right.
And some jackass doesn't take the hint and shines his lights into the trail as you're going through it. I would be pissed.
Oh yeah, for sure, without a question. So good on them for that. That's it. It's the little things like that.
It's the little things that count.
So with that being said, I don't have anything else really I need to add on to this. Do you?
There was one more thing that I wanted to say that happened at the beginning, and I don't want to spoil it because, but I guess it was the owner, I'm not really sure, wasn't 100% sure. We did get there super late, and everybody was trying to leave, but they wanted to stay open because we said we were coming. They offered, so there's that. He made it a point to let us know he likes to make sure that his guests get pictures in front of the very first facade. And there's something really, really, really cool that happens as you're standing in front of this facade.
Yeah.
It's something that I don't think we have many haunts that, do that.
We have not had any haunts this season. I've seen it done before, but not like in this way.
We have had haunts that have had that idea, but we have not got to see it in person.
Right.
Because of, our schedule being thrown off due to the hurricane and us having to get to places a little bit later because of work and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stipulations, but like Scare House of the South had their buzzer thing as you're coming in, and
This Phobia Haunted House has their little thing that they do.
Their thing.
Yeah.
That is very, not similar, but kind of similar.
It works. Anyways, we don't want to give it away.
Yeah, that's the reason I didn't say it, but, I kind of somewhat gave it away.
Well,
so my bad.
They'd have to listen to the other episode to figure that out, so you're good.
Yeah, well.
Anyways.
We'll know. If you know, you know. Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
On YouTube, or,
Right.
be like, if you know, and just message it to us. Whatever you gotta do.
Or don't.
Let us know or don't let us know. We don't mind.
Yeah. So now let us rate. Actually, I do want to say one more thing. I do wish they had some concessions. It didn't look like they had anything out there.
They probably did, but it may have been closed down before we got down there. Because I did see another little shack other than the ticket booth.
Oh.
But I don't know if that was part of the haunt and I was just like seeing it from afar out of the corner of my eye, or if it actually was or not.
Well,
so it could have been there and we just missed it, or it, could just very well not exist. But because we have not laid our own eyes on it,
Yeah.
And they could have had it kind of in the ticket booth.
Maybe, but I didn't see anything that would indicate that in the ticket booth. But I could be wrong. Reach out, tell us if we're wrong.
I mean, it could have just been something small like drinks and chips or something.
Yeah, possibly. Either way, doesn't matter. It's just a take notice thing.
Jeremy's just, he likes to go to these haunts and find out what kind of snacks they have, which snacks are important. So,
they are.
I'm not dogging him on that.
Exactly. So now it's time to rate the haunt. I am going to give it a 4.5 because of water bottles and lawn chairs.
I'm going to give it a 4.5 because of one specific actress that we didn't really mention. So I guess this isn't too totally fair. But in addition to the chairs and water bottles and air horns, we had an actress that was talking about Diddy Party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and, you're a clown, you're supposed to be funny, and you're, like, acting with us and, having fun. We were having fun. Guys, just let that go. We don't need to hear about stupid shit like that in the haunt.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so tired of hearing about Diddy.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, so, some of that stuff I could have looked past, and yes, it definitely did add to the points being taken away. Fucking Diddy Party, man. But oh well. 4.5 from me.
Okay, so I gave her a 4.5. She gave it a 4.5. English was not there.
Yeah.
Both of us gave it 4.5.
Me a 4.5?
Yes, you're a 4.5. We both gave it a 4.5. So that is a grand total of, drumroll please, 4.5 out of 5 screams. So Phobia Haunted Trail is a 4.5 out of 5 screams on the Terror Talk Scream scale. We do invite you to go check it out and disagree with us or agree with us. Find out for yourself. They are located at 2859 Mako Road, Northeast, Leland, North Carolina, 28451. 12 minutes west of Wilmington off Route 74. Turn at the Hardee's. Hardee's are important. But make sure you stop at the Hardee's and get you a burger beforehand. Because food.
Because Jeremy's salty about the fact he didn't see the concession stand if you guys had one.
Because food, and that's all that matters anyways. They're going to be open October 4th through November 2nd, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8 p.m. to midnight. It is important to note, and this is really weird, they are not open on Halloween night.
Which is very strange.
Very.
But at the same time, they do have a lot of younger folks working and, you know, Halloween parties. And I used to love trick-or-treating up until I was like 15, 16 years old. Like, I would still go under the guise of taking my little brother out to trick-or-treat. So, you know, we're not judging.
Yeah. Tickets are $25 general, $35 VIP. Last tickets sold Friday and Saturday till at 11:30. So, be sure to go and check them out. Phobia Haunted Trail this haunt season. If you don't get to check them out this haunt season, be sure to check them out next haunt season. And also go check out our friends over at Panic Attack Haunted Attraction as well. So, that is going to do it for us on this episode of the Terror Talks. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, I've been Jeremy.
And I am Ansley.
And until next time, be safe out there.
Be excellent to each other.
Don't text and drive.
And we will see you
in the fog.
Hey, you guys survived to the end of the show. Congratulations, you're all final girl material. But don't worry, you'll have plenty more opportunities to fall victim to our horrifying creations throughout the season. Afraid to miss out on more content?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. You can also subscribe to our Libsyn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and anywhere else podcasts can be found.
Groovy.
Want to keep up with us regularly? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok for all of our social media fun.
Don't fall asleep.
Go check out our website for our written reviews at theterrortalks.wixsite.com.
What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Want to help us keep the lights from flickering? You can give us a one-time donation of $3 to support the show by visiting glow.fm/theterrortalks. Simply go to that link, and your one-time donation will go back into keeping the show running from Michael, Freddie, and Jason for another day. You can also subscribe to our Patreon by going to www.patreon.com/theterrortalks. Once there, you can subscribe to one of our 2 tiers, our lowest tier of $1 a month and our highest tier of $5 a month. That's less than 1 cup of coffee, and it all goes right back into our show. Anything else we're forgetting?
I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this
town. Please give us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts and let us know that you saw the show. And if there's something you liked or even didn't like, you can also contact us directly at theterrortalks@gmail.com. Well, that does it for this spooky showing. Be safe out there and beware of ghouls, goblins, and monsters. But until next time, happy haunting.